My name is Andrew. I'm 47 years old, and I have spent over half of my adult life in a penitentiary. Now, I mentioned before I'd already been to prison 4 times. This would be my 5th time going to prison. Well, in North Carolina, they have what they call an habitual felon. And what that means is if you repeat over and over and over the same crimes, committing felonies, eventually they habitualize you as a repeat offender. So with this new charge of trafficking, I was looking at, in short, about 18 to 20 years as a 39-year-old man. I had just got done doing the 6.5 years, as I mentioned, and I'm sitting in a county jail, and I'm debating on what to do with the rest of my life. How am I going to live it? Because I knew 18 to 20 years would probably do me in. I would be almost 60 years old, getting out of prison, trying to start over, and I just didn't know how to handle that. I didn't know what I was going to do. There was an inmate sitting beside me one night, and he had a Bible tract that he was looking at. And while I was in the jail, waiting for a court date, waiting for this prison sentence to become effective, I felt something in my heart, something in my soul. Couldn't quite pinpoint what it was, because here again, I didn't know God and wasn't familiar with the Bible or anything that related to that. But when I walked by that inmate and I seen that tract that he was reading, I opened it up. I asked him if I could look at it, and he pushed it over to the side, and he said, "Sure." Well, I got to the back of it, and there's the sinner's prayer in the back of it. And I read that, I said it, and I kind of left it at that. And I really didn't know what salvation was. Of course, I read the tract, and it kind of explained, what salvation is, but I wasn't looking for salvation. I didn't know that at the time. I was looking for a way out. I was looking for a way out of this 18 to 20 years that I was facing. So later on that night, as I was laying in bed, staring up at the ceiling, mulling over what this tract had said and the prayer that I had prayed, I kindly said, "God, if you're real, if you are really real, and you're up there in heaven, get me out of this 18 to 20 years. You get me out of this 18 to 20 years, prove to me that you're real, and I'll spend the rest of my life serving you." Now, I don't recommend making declarations like that to the Lord. However, I was at a point in my life to where I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know where else to turn. And me not knowing the Lord, it kindly, I didn't feel like I was doing anything wrong. I just wanted to know that there was a God. So with that being said, I began to pour myself into the Bible. I had plenty of time. I was sitting in a jail. So I had plenty of time to start reading and studying the Bible. I didn't know at that point that I accepted salvation. I didn't know, how this was going to turn out. But I did know that I'm a man of my word. And if God proved himself to me, I was going to do what I said. I was going to spend the rest of my life serving him. I sat in that county jail for 15 months. There were several obstacles in my way. Things that I overcame that only God could have done. I'll give you one quick example. One of those things was the fact that the 25th district attorney, who was over not only just the county I lived in, but the 3 counties surrounding it, he pretty much told everybody else what to do. He was the 25th district attorney. And he had sent a personalized letter to my lawyer saying, your client represents the two things I hate the most. He's a repeat offender and he's a drug dealer. Therefore, he gets no plea deals. He gets no way out. The only plea that we'll take is a plea of guilty on all charges. 18 to 20 years is what your client's getting. When my lawyer pushed that letter across the desk and I read what I just told you, what it said, I said, God, how are you going to get me out of this? At that point, there was so much peace. I had so much peace, so much joy in my heart that I really didn't even care if I went to go do the 18 to 20 years. Because I knew this was a stark reality. That 18 to 20 years was in my future. Now, after reading this letter from the 25th District Attorney, I lost all hope. But yet, the peace was there. There was no trouble in my heart.